What's going on, y'all? It's J-Spo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, bringing you guys to wrap up, this huge weekend of battle rap, bringing you guys the Riot Cane Bearing Gifts to recap. Now, you're going to notice, it doesn't have top 3 most impressive, doesn't have top 3 most disappointing, so how am I going to be recapping this one? I'm just going over the COTY versus WOTY battles. Those top 3 battles, overall, okay event, you know what I'm saying? I think it has some standout battles that really help it. I think when you look at the undercard, you got to talk about Eunice versus Hansel, which really might have just been the best battle overall, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, I think Nitty versus Jazz was better than it. You know what I'm saying? Expectations lead to different things, but that was clearly a fire battle. Judge, shout out to Hansel for the victory, and one of the, some of the newer guys in URL, a top 6 versus the newest top 6 matchup. I thought that one was really dope. Outside of that, undercard's a little spotty. Capo and Blue Cocaine battled outside. I don't know if Wise and Bad News battled. I didn't see that. They promoted for a belt that no longer exists just to not battle. That is tough. But that would have been a good battle, I think, if it went down. Hennyman and Justice was like a pretty okay battle. Next and Clone was solid as well. Crowd reaction hurt everything. You know what I'm saying? The crowd, or not even say reaction, crowd talking in the background, like literally just talking through the whole event. But if you throw an event in a strip club, that might happen. Not everyone is there to listen to raps. But like I said, little overview of the undercard there. But for the most part, I'm just going over these top 3 battles here, the COTY versus WOTY slot. Without further ado, let's get into Chilla versus Vixen. So, starting off from the first round, Chilla versus Vixen. First round of this battle, which I expected was later in the night, as is. We'd already been through a ton of battles, and energy was down a little bit. So, Vixen goes, and Vixen has like a pretty solid first. Nothing out of the... She addresses the OnlyFans stuff straight up, right? Gets right to it. Couple bars about that. Punching at Chilla, right? A couple name flips, nothing crazy. And I was thinking, all right, this is beatable. Once again, Vixen is pulling up with what looks to be like okay but beatable material. Wasn't moved. And then Chilla went in the first. I'm not going to lie, man. I was not moved by Chilla's first really at all. I think the crowd talking in the background, which had been going on really all night, really got to Chilla. I mean, it's kind of a slow burn when he does, for the most part. I don't want to say that his style is a slow burn, because I've seen Chilla fight past that, be aggressive, you know what I'm saying? But as of recent, he's kind of reverted back to some of his just old ways, where even his first clutch, it's a good scheming, like bar for bar, it's pretty good. But just taking forever to really get to bars of value. And in my opinion, it's a close first, but I edged Vixen. It wasn't that crazy. And then you get into the second, and this is a great Vixen round. And I say this with respect, but for the first time in really over a year, I thought this was a powerful Vixen round. Thought she was landing haymakers back-to-back. It was extremely competitive. She had a bar. I mean, everybody's got a switch bar nowadays, right? But she had a switch bar. I haven't been able to get like the bar for bar down for all this. But she had one in her second that was a bomb. Had a few in her second that was a bomb. And overall had like a great round. And then it was back to Chilla for the first half of Chilla's second. It's just not good. It's not entertaining. It's boring, you know what I'm saying? I hate to use those terms. They're very common critiques of Chilla, sometimes really even lazy, but this time around, really felt like it got like that. As he hits the back half of a second, things get better. I think he puts more aggression into it, which is kind of one of those too little, too late situations. I just don't think a part of a round can beat an entire good round. So I had Vixen up 2-0 going into the third, and as you get into the third, another good Vixen round, man. This is one of the best Vixen performances I've seen in a minute. This is better than the Jade performance. This is better than the Jazz performance. This is better than the A-Ward performance. Probably her best performance since Rock. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes to show she was really great in this one. Loved her third, too. Not as good as her second, but still really good. And Chilla's third is good. Probably makes it close enough. But I'm not going to lie to you, man. I had Vixen winning all 3 rounds of this battle. 1, 2, and 3. Second being the clearest of clears. Really her good performance in a minute. Obviously, in she shakes her ass. Everybody wants to see Vixen shake her ass. Thank you, Vixen. You know what I'm saying? So overall, performance, haymakers, even a little bit of angling there in the third. How you got a belt, but you were always hitting below it. Talking about Chilla always taking some distasteful angles. Thought even that was creative. So shout out to Vixen. Needed a win column, one to get back on track. Good victory against Chilla Jones. Did a pit style setting at that. And a great way to set it off for the WOTYs, putting them up 1-0. From there, we can get into Jazz versus Nitty. And this one was one of those top three WOTY COTY battles that really lived up to it. I think we all knew that this was going to be the most exciting battle on the card. And I think in a card that just seemed to be, had a bunch of different issues. Like I said, with the crowd talking in the background. Right starts later in the night, and there's still a huge undercard to get under. So you finally get to this battle, and it is very good. You get Rum Nitty starting off first. And Nitty's first is like pretty good. I see some people saying he mailed it in. I don't think that he mailed in the round. He had the Ray Charles, the scratch in the arm, right? He had a couple different bars that were good. I just don't think it's like a dominant Nitty round, right? I don't think it's like a great, but I just think even Nitty's standard rounds are still pretty good. So after we wrapped the first, I did feel like it went by a little bit quick, right? Good round, right? Like I could pick good bars out of it. And then Jazz goes, and it's really just a humongous tempo switch. I think she starts out with like 2 to 3 haymakers. Very mad I don't have like the quotes on paper, man. I watched 20 plus battles, and I still got to write the goddamn recap. So apologies on like my lack of detail. You guys know I like my attentiveness. But I can tell you just purely, she did start out with about 2 to 3 haymakers, really carried it out through most of the first round. Something that not as shocking at all, but Jazz definitely out-rapped Nitty this battle in terms of like time. But was super efficient with it and didn't really wrap herself out of rounds, in my opinion. The first is great. You know what I'm saying? Really, really like a standard 9 to 10, 10 out of 10 Jazz round. I think it's kind of similar in the first versus Clips, where she just starts off great. She starts off on fire. And in my opinion, even with a good Rum Nitty first, Jazz clearly took the first round in this battle. And I know I saw those people debating it. And Rum is the king of watchback, right? And I think the first will get more respect on watchback. But even then, I just don't really see an argument for him in that first round. I think Jazz, from beginning to end, tailored, bar for bar haymakers, she kind of just outlanded him, right? So then you get into the second, and Nitty feels that pressure and turns up. And this is Nitty's best round of the battle. And up there with Jazz's first, it might be the best round of the battle. I mean, he starts clicking on all cylinders. If I want to shoot this bitch magenta, a fuchsia do it. Jesus Christ, man. Just a couple of those that were just like out crazy. The magenta flips, the fuchsia flip being one of them, right? But hella magenta flips, Jazz flips. This is the haymaker round. This is the name flip haymaker round, and just really gets after. Obviously took shots at Official and KC2, Bardashians. He used all the flips possible. So now you get an elite, after the elite Jazz first, you get an elite Nitty second. Like Jazz's second as well. Thought she came back well, but I don't think she started off on just like that haymaker note like she did in the first. And you see build-ups. I think she hits a little bit towards the middle and towards the end, but without that heavy start, I think it was hard for her to build the momentum like she did in the first. And just see, if you start out with that momentum and snatch the energy, now you're taking all of his energy. You're already up 1-0. You could very easily take that. In my opinion, it was a pretty clear 1-1 actually going into the third. I love Jazz's first, love Nitty's second. As you get to the third, it's kind of a dip from both. And when I saw Nitty rap, it's his third is somewhere in between his first and second, right? Like it's good, but it's not great. So once again, kind of gets through it a little bit quick too, like kind of like 3 flats. So I'm like, yo, the door is super open for Jazz in this round. And something that hurt Jazz, hurt a lot of people that night. It's kind of hard to critique, but in a close battle you got to, is I think in her third, a little bit of stumbles right on the first half there. I think that's mostly the crowd talking. So it's tough. I would say, though, that Nitty didn't stumble, so there has to be some attribution to it. And if it wasn't such a close round, I probably wouldn't even mention it like that, knowing how the crowd had been. But I thought, and even the 12 steps, the 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, good payoff. I thought it was really drawn out, getting to it. Solid. In my opinion, though, really close third. Obviously, if you like direct approach, you like Jazz. But I thought, due to the cleanliness, kind of like Nitty's approach more, and edged him to third, giving him the battle 2-1. So I had Nitty 2-1, second and third over Jazz. Good battle, probably battle of the night. I had Vixen 3-0, unless Unison Hands was battle of the night. I had Vixen 3-0 over Chilla, and that leaves you with the main event, Geechee and Coffee. And I thought, I've been up here, I've been talking crazy. I thought Geechee was going to kill Coffee. I thought Geechee was going to murder Coffee. This battle made me sad. It's not a good battle. It's not one of them ones. However you want to put it, we got to this battle, and really from the first round, kind of already showed you what direction was going in. I thought, Coffee starts out first, and her first isn't bad, but it's just standard. It's kind of even the round I might have even expected from her in this situation. I wouldn't say I was unimpressed or impressed. I was kind of like, all right, this is cool. A little bit of punch it, threw some personals in there at the end. And then you get to Geechee's first, and it's wildly inconsistent. it's just wildly inconsistent. There's just complete dry spots. There's not. The one thing that saves Geechee round is that he has two haymakers. He has two crazy, and I think even a third one that hits later in the round, but he has two extremely crazy haymakers. He is the you were trying to fuck battle rappers while I was trying to mold you as a talent. I was trying to train you in a different way. That hit crazy. And then he did the flip on rocks. Can't watch my brother die, so I turned my head. He said, I can't stand you dying, so I shot it kneeled. That was crazy. So in the first, really, you could take a more consistent Coffee round, but I thought Geechee landed bombs in a round where not many lines stood out on either side. So I did give him the first round, and we get into the second. Coffee writes uphill a little bit, right? Coffee second is pretty good. It's not crazy. It's just pretty good. Mixing in some of the punches, you know what I'm saying? A little bit more on the personal side now. Delivery's really there. Confident in her delivery, too. Not really any stumbling, not any, worries about choking. So she gives a pretty good second. It's better than the first. Yo, Geechee's second is terrible. Geechee's second is so bad, man. And at the end of the day, I have to put it the way it is because it just looks completely unmotivated. It's what I give clips a lot of shit for. And I see a lot of people like, oh, Geechee's clips. Like it's a new take. I think people have been calling Geechee West Coast clips for a little bit of time now. It's not, I can't say this is the first time I've heard things like that. But it's, it's the same way. It's freestyling. It's not 100% freestyling, but it damn near feels like that. Some of the personals are just like long build up and then don't land. It reminds me kind of his second for Hollow, where it's just like, it's unserious. There's really no other word for it. And I had to give Coffee the second. Didn't think it was the craziest second, but it was solid. It was serviceable versus a round that was not serviceable. That was not solid. So it was 1-1 going into the third. And as you get into the third round of this battle, Coffee has her best round of the battle. Punching at him, getting at him personal, even though it's kind of started going out a little, crazier with it, with the accusations on the personal note, but the punches were there. She did put a Desert Eagle on a tripod. And that should show you what's going on here. I'm praising Coffee, and she did do pretty good, but even then, there was just silly things happening. A Desert Eagle on on a tripod is crazy. So, couple crazy setups, couple cracked out setups, but still punching through it for the most part, right? And against someone that's more polished, you'd figure against one of the best in the world, a 3-time COTY, he'd see things like that. Rough setups, it's pretty good, but it's still not the most polished, and he would clean up and win this third. He did not. I do not like Geechee's third, same way I don't like Geechee's second. Once again, direct, a little bit more, a little bit more direct, the Coffee, Folgers, like you need a couple good bars in there, but in my opinion, it's a close third. I'm not gonna act like it's the clearest loss, but I was so unimpressed with Geechee's second and third, and I hope this is signs of him overwriting for Easy and giving him the best material, because in this battle he didn't, and in a huge upset, in a nasty battle, I do have Coffee 2-1 second and third over Geechee Gotti. And that is my full recap for the Cane Bearing Gifts to COTY WOTY portion of this card. Funny results. I got the WOTYs going 2-1, had them losing 3-0, right? So clearly I was wrong there. Ladies always seem to hold it down. These intergender matchups, it's just something that I keep seeing, man. It's just, you still get one of the best versions of the ladies, or at least a good version of the ladies. And then you get a couple opponents that just severely underperform. I thought Chilla was just not good. For most of the battle, I'm saying? I think there's moments in the second and the third, but the energy was at nowhere, just extremely unimpressive. He just got leveled up in just multiple different facets, which is something Chilla's been more prone to lately than usual, when going back to stuff like the EK loss, the Sirius Jones battle. It's I love Chilla Jones, great, and winning COTY in 2020 was great to put on his resume, but I do think we have seen the best of Chilla Jones already. Not to say Chilla's done for, he's washed, anything like that, but he's clearly past his prime a bit. I think the slow burn, even though he won the Klutz battle to many, including myself, but he's kind of back to a slower style. I think motivation plays a bit of a factor in that, right, after you've been through a long career, so I'm not going to get on him too much, but you go from there, then the Geechee performance is just, like I said, I pray this means that he is, gearing up for Easy, and that would make sense, what I'm saying? This is Coffee, not Easy, on a term of difficulty and just level of importance. I'm expecting to be prepped for that, but this was pretty important, what I'm saying? This was a grudge match with Coffee, and this is the second time I've seen Geechee, and I can't say Geechee's bad against ladies, he did good against KCJ, what I'm saying? They kind of smoked KCJ in the tournament, but versus Jazz, lackluster, lackadaisical. I've never liked that battle either. And then versus Coffee, worse. It's just not good after a long night. A lot of the crowd talk, even crowd talked over his round a little bit. So it was a little bit chaotic all the way around. I'm sure people were just tired with the way that some of the things at the event were going, but not a good showing in the main event. Jazz and like I said, Jazz and Nitty was good. It's the one thing. I see a lot of people 2-1 debatable, which is like a pretty good call for it. Like I said, that the stumbles in the third is my separating thing that I give it to Nitty for, because they both had pretty standard thirds, and I thought the first and the second, you get a highlight round either way. So it's 1-1. The third is close enough that the fan bases can debate it. That's really what you want from that battle, and I wish they, even if it wasn't the craziest over impressive result, I wish we had more battles that looked like that, right? But that's my full recap here in the Riot. For any of your takeaways on it, please let me know in the comment section down below. Who do you think got the biggest win? Any major stock rises from it? And really your biggest takes from the weekend between this and RB. A lot has changed. A lot of big wins. COTY shaking up. Do you guys have any opinions on that? I see people debating who is your number one right now if COTY race ended today. We got a lot more on the way. But if it ended today, who right now is in that number one spot for you? But it's been J Small Reviews again, y'all. Crazy weekend of battle rap. I have a ton of content coming out this week, and then next week, Trenches. Follow me on Twitter. We'll be doing live updates for that as well. But it's been J Smoke Reviews again, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.